Welcome back to another episode of Durarara. So in the previous episode, we saw the entire, I guess, string of events that led up to Sonohara going to see Kida and finding out that Kida is actually the leader of the Yellow Scarves, which was pretty interesting because at the end of the day, Silty was the one who saved her, and Izaya, we saw Izaya kind of pulling all of the strings, of course, being the mastermind. So a few things in the previous episode. You guys did clarify one thing that I forgot about is in episode 17, Izaya did talk about Anri being the slasher, right? So he knows that Anri is the actual Saika, the slasher. So okay, that's one thing that you guys clarified that I forgot about. So that's good to know. So it's Salty and Izaya who know about Sonohara's identity. Now, the other big thing that I want to quadruply make sure, because I did see a comment about this, but I just want to make sure with you guys, because if that comment is actually correct, then I was under a big misconception all this time. So the entire chat room that we saw with the dollars and stuff like that, is that chat? I saw a comment saying that chat room is just a normal public chat room that has nothing to do with actually being a dollar or not, and it was just mostly they were talking about the dollars a lot, and that's about it. It's not actually the dollars chat room, so not everyone who's in there is going to be at the dollars. Is that correct? Because I was under the assumption that that chat room was, and the password to log into that chat room and stuff like that was only given to the dollars members. But if that's the case, if it's only like a normal public chat room, then that being in that chat room means nothing, right? It doesn't mean that you are actually part of the dollars. So let me know if it is actually a public chat room or if it is a chat room only meant for the dollars. Just so I know how to interpret like Saika specifically, right? I feel like that's a big piece of information. Because yeah, as I said, in my memory, they said that it was meant for the dollars and that you would get the password only if you join the dollars, but I could be misremembering it. It's been a hot minute. So yeah, please clarify this because I did see a comment about it. And I really want to know that. I feel like that's a big piece of information, right? Apart from that, we also saw Kida and how he's dealing with his guilt and stuff. I also saw, I don't want to like individually call out comments because that feels kind of like targeted, and I don't want to do that. But I did see a comment that I kind of disagree with, that basically said that Sonohara is the only one of the three who had a traumatic experience because Kida brought it on himself. And I do agree that Kida brought him on himself, but just because you bring some misfortune on yourself doesn't mean it's not traumatic, right? I think what Kida's going through is still extremely, what's a nice word? Uncomfortable, I guess, experience to go through, and it can be very traumatic, especially for like a kid, because you're gonna make mistakes when you're a kid, when you're like, I don't know, he was like what, in middle school when he created Yellow Scarves, like 13, 14, 15, whatever. Obviously he's gonna fuck up in those. Well, I'm gonna have to bleep that. But yeah, obviously things are gonna go wrong when he's that old. So him, messing up there and getting Saki hurt is still gonna be a traumatic experience for him, right? The guilt is gonna be killing him. So I still think that him going through that entire experience is a traumatic experience for him, regardless of if he brought it upon himself or not. That doesn't matter about like if something is traumatic or not. But yeah, anyways, at the end of the episode, we saw him approach the Van Gang, and I want to see where exactly his character goes because, as I said in the previous episode, I do think that he's in an extremely vulnerable position right now because he just wants to find a place to belong. And when someone is in that state, they are very easily exploitable. So I want to see if he gets exploited in some way, shape, or form, or if he manages to, kind of root his mental health and mental state in general to be more stable. I don't know. We'll see. And also I want to see how, like, where Mikado goes from here because he seems like he's the one who's lagging behind a bit. He isn't really doing much when it comes to taking action, whereas both Mikado and Sonohara seem very proactive. So, or sorry, Kida and Sonohara seem very proactive. We'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen, right? Anyways, if you wanna watch this, Uncut and Unblurred, it's gonna be on Patreon, which is down in the description. And let's go into Durarara, episode 20. The Yellow Dynasty shall rise.
サービスするよ、門田社長。誰が社長だ、誰が。あ、一番安い握り。
Erika without her cat.
で、俺 俺らになんのようだ、黄金族のヘッドが。
うちらにとって虚構の世界は現実と同じぐらい大切な遊び場。虚構と現実は等価であって、だから現実が嫌いなわけじゃない。
その黄金族のヘッドがダラーズのメンバーに話があるといえばわかり
He
ます。
knows.
まあいいか。言っておくが、俺らだって詳しくは知らねえし、切り裂き魔にはこっちの人間だってや
When
る
did he find out?
キダにはむしろその辺の誤解を解いてもらえると助かるんだがな。
それは
へい、お茶飲む？買ってけよ。
The thing that I was thinking about, sorry. We're very early on into the episode, but the thing that I was thinking about during the opening was there was an interesting parallel that came to my mind when I was talking about the characters, and that is Kida and Mikado. I feel like Kida and Mikado were very similar up to a point, but the difference is obviously Kida having that traumatic and unfortunate situation happening with Saki, right? And I feel like that was a turning point for Kida, but Mikado never actually got really burnt with the entire situation yet. So I feel like if Mikado gets somehow burnt and realizes that he went over his head with the entire dollar situation, which I feel like could very well happen, because up until this point, Kida has been very nonchalant, or sorry, Mikado has been very nonchalant and very, I would say almost reckless with the power that he's been given. And he could very much get burnt just like how Kida did. And I feel like that would be a turning point for him as well. I feel like there's a bit of a parallel between the two characters there as well. But maybe I'm thinking too much about it. But I feel like you could pull like some kind of parallel between them. So that's what I was thinking about throughout the opening.
大丈夫、門田社長。心と滅却すれば、火もまた冷たい。怒る？ダメ。あちちよ。お前、本当は日本語わかってるんだよな。
Yeah.
つうかよくこんな熱い湯飲みを握れるよな。
Hmm.
それはそう思っているのは門田さんたちだけかもしれない。ダラーズは横のつながりも縦のつながりもないチームじゃないですか。だからあなたたちの知らないところで勝手に切り裂き魔をやっている派閥があるのかもしれない。それこそ他のメンバーを切れば疑いもかからない。
なるほど。まあ筋は取ってるわな。で、動機はなんだ？
Slasher?
名を売る目的でもなく、金も動いてねえ集団が切り裂き魔という形で黄金族を潰すことに何の意味がある？
それが分かれば苦労はしないし、支援だってあり得るかも。
支援だ？黄金族が昔ダラーズと揉めたって話は聞いてないが。
ダラーズとはでしょう。ブルースクエア。
キダ。
あのチームが俺らにやったことは忘れてないし、例の事件で一応収まりがついたけど、それで恨みが消えたわけじゃない。そう思っています。
それで俺のところに来たわけか。
なあ、門田さんならわかるでしょう。ダラーズのボスを教えてほしい。できるなら、ダラーズの中にあんたの昔の仲間が、ブルースケアの奴らが何人。
やだな、キダくん。ダメっすよ。現実と妄想をごちゃごちゃに。
Oh, that's scary.
ブルースクエアなんて存在しなかった。それでいいんじゃないっすか。
Oh, that's scary.
さっきは存在しない奴らにリンチされて今も病院に。
そうだよ。君の元カノは存在しない連中にやられたんだよ。それでいいじゃん。
カリサワさん、怒りますよ。
もう怒ってるじゃない。
He's gonna lose his target
それ
of
にユアンチ
for
は
his
君より先に
anger.
怒ってるよ。だからこれはイーブン。キダ君が彼女の件に怒りを感じているように、ダラーズを切り裂き魔だなんて疑ってることに怒りを感じる人もいるってこと。それをイーブンってこと
Oh.
で収められないなら、話を持ち出すべきじゃないよ。確かに、私たちにも負い目はあるけどさ。そのサキちゃんを助け出した人たちに対して、逃げた君がその過去を引きずり出そうって言うなら、そんな過去はいくらでも妄想の産物として別世界に追いやらせてもらうよ。現実と虚構が等価なら、いらない現実は妄想にしちゃえばいい。それがうちらのやり方。違うっすよ、カリサワさん。違った？ブルースクエアってチームが仮にあったとして、あのエピソードの時、最初にリンチにあったのはブルースクエアの方っすよ。なのになんか一方的に悪者扱いされてるのに抗議してるだけっす。 そうか。うわあ、恥ずかしい。今の私たちも恥ずかしかったね。
すいませんでした。
いやいや、こっちこそ悪かったっすよ。サキちゃんの件は本当に申し訳なかったと思って。
This is so cool.
いえ、あなたたちにはむしろお礼を言わなきゃいけないのに。
お前が恨んでたとしても構わねえさ。中学生のガキに。俺たちはそれだけのことをやっちまったんだからな。
だから門田さんは何も。
どんなに消そうとしても、てめえの関わったことからは逃げられねえさ。で、あえて言わせてもらうけどよ。ボスについては俺も知らねえし、
Okay, I was wondering whether they somehow know, but no, they
そ
don't.
してもう一回言うが、切り裂き魔とダラーズは関係ないし、黄金族といがみ合う理由もない。
そうですか。
そういや一人いたな。ダラーズのボスを知ってるってやつ。
Are you sure you want to say that?
誰ですか？
待てよ。だから聞いてどうするって話だ。お前がボスの名前をそいつから聞いたとして、のこのこ茶飲みに行って話し合いでもするつもりか？
Izaya?
それとも黄金族使ってガラさらうか？
俺は切り裂き魔を追いたいだけです。
そりゃよ、黄金族の総意か？昔みたいにお前が下の連中しっかり仕切ってんなら、俺も信用して協力するよ。だけどな、お前が離れている間にあいつら変わっちまった。
They've been getting more violent, they said it.
言わせねえぞ。
俺はあいつらのことを黄金族をまだ仲間
But he doesn't know how many of the...
どう
Ah,
すりゃいいのか自分でもよくわ
he doesn't know that the Blue
かんない。
Dynasty is also mixed in.
仕業だとして、それこそ今のお前には関係ないことじゃねえのか？組織同士の抗争、そういうのが嫌でお前は。
逃げました。
でも追いやったはずの現実は、時にいびつな形で舞い戻ってくる。
だけど今回は黄金族の仲間だけじゃないんですよ。
Oh?
黄金族とも俺の過去とも関係のない大事な人が襲われた。それが許せない。
それはお前の。
そう、俺個人の問題なんです。それを解決するためにあいつらを黄金族を言い訳に使っているだけなんです。
Hmm.
そこまで自覚してんなら
いや
何も言わねえ。あとはそのボスのことを知ってるやつとボスの判断に任せるとするさ。ただしだ、それでもお前らが俺たちダラーズを完全な敵と認めるなら、
認めるなら何ですか？
売られた喧嘩は受けて立つ。
He's
お
so
前もその覚
cool.
悟はあんだろうな。
He's like one of the coolest characters in the show.
印にする以上、お前らの年によくやらかすガキの喧嘩とは話が変わるってことは理解してんだろうな。
俺は
Simon?
他の客が怖い。
Oh.
そういう話は表でやれ。できたよ。クレムリン握り。
Bro!
社長さん、喧嘩する？お腹減ってるからよ。寿司食ってお腹いっぱい。
Dude, Erika's the best.
人間様の胃袋、夢工場ね。ありがとうよ、サイモン。
いただきます。やばす。店長やばす。
ねえねえ、これって
Usually.
じゃない？
いや、包丁ってこんなに深く突き刺さるんすね。
じゃあな、キダ。くれぐれも半端な考えを起こすんじゃねえぞ。
しかしあの店長マジで危ねえよな。一歩ずれてりゃ織田仏だったぞ。
I wonder if there's more to the owner.
私はちょっとかっ
Like, I wonder if he's gonna be an actual character.
包丁をおもちゃにするなと言い切り立つ料理漫画の主人公とコ
What?
マンドサンボで対決する姿が思い浮かんだっす。かくして我々の中では店長はマフィアと戦った元ロシア軍の格闘技の教官という設定。
ABG Mart instead of ABC Mart. Nice.
だったらロシア寿司なんて目立つ店を開くわけねえだろうが。ほらだ。
なんすか門田さん、新手の呪詛っすか？
ドダチンはホラダホラダを唱えた。
束縛系か召喚系？
電撃系かも。
さっきキダが言ってたろ。まあさっきはああ言ったが、ダラーズを探っても切り裂き魔は出てこねって。
俺はいや俺たちはそう思ってません。
何？
例の黒バイクがダラーズだって噂があります。
なんで黒バイクが出てくる？
Let me write that down.
ああ、それでほらだほら。
どうしたのよ、変に考え込んじゃって。
大したことじゃねえんだが、そうだよな。違うかもしれねえし。
何がっすか？
いや、昔の知り合いの中に、そんな名前のやつがいた気がしたんだけどな。
Oh, maybe in the Blue Dynasty
仲間
days?
とする派閥があって、そいつらが黄金族を狙い撃ちしているとしたら、辻褄が合う。
ねえ、ユマッチ、今の話っておかしいよね。
何がっすか？
桐崎マって前あの黒バイクが始末してたじゃん。
トグサさんも車で跳ねたし。
最後はしずちゃんに潰されて。
でもその後、一晩に50件も同時に起こったのは、あ、でもそいつらも。
どっちにしろ切り裂き魔はもう出てこねえよ。奴らは平和島静雄に喧嘩を売ったんだと。どうなったかはわかるな。
でも、
これがダラーズのボスを知ってる奴の電話番号だ。あとは好きにしろ。
Of course. It couldn't be anyone else.
新規臭い面は客が逃げる。それでも食って明るい顔で店出てけ。
ありがとうございます。
ダメよ、ケンカ。君ら十分幸せだから、人の幸せ取っちゃダメ。分けてあげるといいよ。ねえ、最近覚えたよ。情けない人はダメなまず。
Parity?
情けは人のためならず
Oh,
だろう
okay.
が。キダの坊ちゃんナマズなの？
Are you an invention?
ねえ。
うまいっすね、これ。退屈だ。
Mmm.
ないというのは、実に退屈だ。
殴っていい？
いいじゃん。その分給料払ってんだから。
このアワクス界に送ったチョコレートって何？
拳銃だけど何か？いやほら、半年ぐらい前、アワクス界から拳銃盗んで逃げたやつがいたろ？
Awax.
忌まわしいデュラハン
Yep,
が追っかけてる
yep,
やつ。
yep, yep, yep. I have it written down.
その時の拳銃はほとんどセルティが回収して事なきを得たんだけど、まだ一丁も使ってないんだよね。
One
だ
handgun?
から、いや、そろそろかかってくると思っていたよ。
はったり。
ああ、いいとも。はい。じゃあすぐ伺います。
結局、過去から逃げられないのは自分だけ。
He was the only one who couldn't run from his
世界は記号だって偉い人
past.
が言った。多分言ったはず。言ってなくても似たような言葉は誰かが言ってるに違いない。
懐かしい表情だね。昔の君の顔だ。
I also really
中
like
学生だったのに。
I really like how they framed Kida as he knows that what he's doing isn't like morally like perfect, far from it, right? He knows that he's involving innocent people who are not his friends, but like he's involving people who have nothing to do with his own problems in his own problems, right? And putting them in danger with doing that. He knows it. And also I really like how they framed him like he had his own the entire blue square situation. He needs them to be real. He needs them to exist. He needs them to be a target of his anger and stuff, right? Because the best way to cope with something like guilt is some kind of like anger, some kind of stronger emotion where you can, or just an emotion that distracts you from the guilt, right? Because otherwise you're going to need to face the guilt, and that is oftentimes harder than just wanting revenge or stuff like that, right? So I feel like Kida needs blue squares to be a thing so that he can hate them and plot somehow some kind of revenge towards them. As I said in the previous episode, right? That I think that Kida's gonna want some kind of revenge on blue squares, even though I don't think it's gonna bring him any kind of closure, right? And I think he needs them to be real because he just doesn't want to face the guilt that he's feeling for Saki, right? He doesn't know how to face it at the end of the day, I don't think. So I really like the way that wasn't like written, the entire scene there.
その表情は大人そのものだった。その頃を懐かしみながら、俺はあえて君にこう挨拶しよう。おかえり。聞きたいことは分かってる。
Oh yeah, I forgot how close their relationship was
まあ
before.
電話で答えてあげてもよかったんだけど、そんな軽い話にはならなそうだったからね。君の友達が切られたんだって？名前は確か園原杏里。
This guy knows everything.
黄金族の子たちより君にとってはこの女の子の方が重要みたいだね。
昔々 し、漫画とドラマに感化された少年が黄金族っていうグループを作りました。
黄金族は青色を旗印にするもう一つのグループと構想になり、窮地に立ちました。
Is that Taiga?
そこにさっそうと現れたのが天才
おい、
軍師。
なんで全部美少女なんだ？
ところがそれは
ジュガリアン
なくむしろそうそう。
そうこうするうちに追い詰められた一方のグループは少年の大切なお姫様をさらい、少年は助けに行こうとしましたが、途中で怖くなって。
もし黄金族の構想に巻き込まれて君の好きな女の子が大怪我をしたんだとしたら、なるほどなるほど、確かにこれはサキちゃんの件と同じ状況だね。君はこう思ってるんじゃないか？自分は確かにサキのことが好きだったはずだ。だけど怖くて彼女を助けることができなかった。自分の愛は偽りだったのか？彼女の体が目当てだったのだろうか？自分は自分が思っているほどに彼女のことが好きじゃなかったんじゃないかってね。
よくもまあポンポンと。
Yeah, that's a
やがて
brutal
それはむしろそうであって
barrage
ほし
there.
いという願望に変わった。ならば本当に好きな子のためなら自分は命を懸けて戦えるはずだ。その試金石なんだろ？その原杏里って子は。
イザヤさんがそう思ってるなら、それでいいっすよ。それでも俺はやり遂げたいだけなんです。
切り裂き前の復讐？それともダラーズの壊滅？
イザヤさんの答え次第じゃ、両方になります。
いい覚悟だね。わかった。君が前に進むためだ。だから俺は喜んで君に事実にして真実、そしてどうしようもない現実というものを教え込んであげよう。本来この3つは異なる存在だが、時には同一になるという例だ。ところで、ミカド君は元気かい？は？ほら、今年の春に紹介した
This dude! This
君
dude!
の友達、龍ヶ峰ミカド君だよ。
Yo!
ここでミカドの名前が出てくるんですか？
いやあ、彼も今の状況をすごく心配してるんじゃないかと思ってね。
あいつは関係ないでしょ。
I know someone who
あ
knows
いつ
the
には
boss,
黄金族のことは
and
話
he
して
starts talking about Mikado.
多くてだけど超元気っすよ。楽しそうに毎日を生きてますよ。
ああ、そんな平和な日常を送る彼に嫉妬しちゃったりしてる？
だからあいつ
He's so cheeky.
話だから。
関係あるとしたら？いやあ、そうかそうか。ミカド君は元気か。友達がこんなに苦しんでるのに、その原因になってる彼は楽しく人生を謳歌してるわけだ。
ちょっと待て。
Instigating as
どういうこと
always.
ですか？イザヤさん。
もう分かってるくせに。ダラーズのボスは君の大事な大事な。
Whoa! He just told
龍
him!
ヶ峰ミカド君さ。もっとも親友と思ってるのは君だけかもしれないけど。
Bro, he's instigating so much.
現実に辟易として、うちらは世界を作り直すことにした。壁を作って大切なものとゴミを瞬別して、内側には大好きなものだけを集めて、他は全部追いやった。やってみたら案外平気だった。世界は萌えとツンデレとボーイズラブだけで作れる。す
Boys
ごい。
love.
それが唯一虚構と現実の折り合いをつける上手なやり方。
知ってます？また黄金族とダラーズがやり合ったそうですね。またですか。怖いですね。でも、いつもの小競り合いでしょ。それが今度は黄金族のアジトを直接襲ったそうなんです。なんで大胆な。ほら、例の首なしライダー。あいつが切り裂き魔と組んで、黄金族の秘密基地を襲撃したんだとか。あ、どうしました？セットンさん。またまた、いくらカンラさんでも信じられませんよ。そんな荒唐無稽な話。
皆さん何の話ですか？
アニメのお話です。違うでしょ、セットンさん。今度の特撮映画の内容ですよ、サイカさん。
ああ、なるほど。
田中太郎さんまで。面白いですよ。今年のは特にプロデューサーが2度変わって、脚本家が総入れ替えになったとか。
じゃあ今度見てみます。
ところで、これはあくまでも。
No! Stop! Izaya, stop! Stop it!
の将軍がダラーズのボスに直接対決を申し込むって話があるんです。
本当に？
Izaya, you motherfucker!
うちのクラス寄らずに帰るなんてどうしたんだよ。ああ、ちょっとな。昨日も休んだし。すっかり良さそうだな。
木田君。
ああ、いたいた。竹口。
Takeguchi.
俺がダラーズだってこと誰かに言った？
Takeguchi.
なんだっての。
ああ、知らない。ダラーズが黄金族と揉めてるって。
I haven't written down.
今日、ヨズのやつが俺のことを聞き回ってたらしいんだ。僕は誰にも言ってないよ。俺もだ。ならいいんだ。じゃあな。バイ。じゃあ俺もここで。一緒に帰ろうよ。ちょっち野暮用でな。熱烈な女性ファンたちが俺を自由にしてくれないんでな。察してくれ。じゃあな。マサミ。いいか。小競り合いは禁止だ。煽られても我慢しろ。でも、将軍。相手につけ込まれる理由を与えるな。キリシタキマがダラーズだってんなら証拠を集めろ。
将軍、ダラーズのボスについて知り合いを当たってみるっつってましたが、何か分かりましたか？
いや、
おとといの件で舐められっぱなしは我慢できねえって連中もいます。もしそいつらが暴走しちまったら。
そん時は俺も腹くくるよ。
Oh, Takiguchi. Oh!
なんでこんな目に遭うか教えてやる。お前ら色がないからだ。色がないのは安全だと思ってんだろ。甘いんだよ。色がないやつなんて現実じゃ誰も助けてくれねえ。お互い縛りのない組織。なんてな。所詮ネットのお遊びでしか成り立たねえんだよ。なも現実からは駆逐してやる。俺ら黄金族なんだ。
現実は時々下手くそな二次創作みたいな展開になりさがる。
マサミ？竹口かな。黄金族にやられた。
竹口くんは
見舞い行ってくる。
Okay. I'm just going through my list and making sure that Horada doesn't show up anywhere else on my list, but I don't think he does. No, he doesn't. No, it's just here. Yeah. So I mean, he's the guy that was I feel like I think the first time that we saw him at least make a prominent role, having a prominent role, was when he was shanking Shingen, right? Interesting. Yeah, as I said at the end of the episode, I feel like there is definitely a parallel going on with Kida and Saki versus Mikado and now Takiguchi, right? Even though obviously Mikado and Takiguchi aren't as close as Saki and Kida were, and I don't think Mikado's gonna feel as responsible. I feel like that is the start of something, right? That is the start of Mikado getting people in trouble with his carelessness, right? And getting people physically hurt because of his carelessness. Or not even, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, carelessness maybe is not the correct word, maybe more so his aloof attitude, I guess. I mean, that is carelessness, right? I don't know how to word that, but it definitely feels like it's something that Mikado is gonna start feeling heavy pressure with, right? I feel like this is gonna start weighing down on Mikado a lot. So we'll see how it's gonna end up working out. Honestly, there's a part of me, as much as I really like Izaya's attitude, there's a part of me that just wants someone to prove Izaya wrong, right? There's someone who I just want someone to come in and completely destroy Izaya's plans and just see. I want to see Izaya be surprised. I want to see Izaya be devastated over his plans not working out. I feel like I just want to see that, even though he isn't, for now, he isn't necessarily a villain. I mean, some of the things that he does, he definitely doesn't care about the well-being of others. So I interpret that as like however you want, right? But he definitely is letting a lot of people be hurt, right? He's not using his information to help people, that's for sure. So I guess you could, in that light, you can say that he's definitely not necessarily the nicest of guys, that he is kind of like an antagonist. Because yeah, he could definitely be helping a lot of people, but he isn't, right? He's actively instigating a more conflict, right? Because of him wanting to test his hypothesis, I'm guessing, of whether Salty will actually awaken or not. But I don't know. God, this is hard. It's really, really hard, especially with Kida. As I said, it feels very destructive, the path that he's on, right? It feels like he's on a path of like not wanting to. I mean, they're saying that he's going to face the past and stuff like that, but I feel like the only way to face the past is facing his guilt directly with Saki, which he's been kind of visiting her, but also it doesn't seem like he's actually faced anything. And I don't even know how you would go about facing your own guilt in that kind of situation, but it definitely feels like he's trying to find or redirect his emotions into something else constantly, and instead of actually addressing the outcome of the situation and seeing how he could help there, you know? So, yeah, but to be fair, he is a confused 15, 16-year-old who doesn't know how to react in that. So, I can't really blame him, right? He's not like Dotachin, who's, I'm guessing, a lot older, right? Dotachin is a lot older, a lot wiser, a lot more mature, so it makes sense. Whereas Kida is struggling to see what he needs to do and what he wants to do, and he's doing his best, I think. I don't know, maybe he is. On the other hand, I do want to see what is gonna happen with Mikado, because as I said, it feels like Mikado is very much gonna find out what kind of how hot the fire is that he's playing with, right? I feel like he's very much gonna find out that this thing that he's created is way bigger than he actually thinks, and way over, like, completely over his head, you know. But we'll find out. Maybe he's once again gonna be more capable than he lets on, but right now he definitely feels very much like he's underestimating or just not even aware of the entire situation happening. So we'll see where it's gonna go, you know. Maybe I'm gonna be wrong. Those are all my speculations based on the information that we've been presented with, so I could be wrong on all of them, you know. Yeah, we'll see. The show is gonna tell us in the future, so I'm sure that even if I'm wrong, the show is gonna tell me. So no need to worry if I completely butcher one of the speculations, because the show is gonna definitely punish me for it either way, so don't worry about it. Yeah, anyways, I am excited to see where it's gonna go, though. We are slowly but surely approaching the end of Season 1, so I feel like the end of Season 1 is definitely gonna be some kind of climax, right, before going into Season 2. I do wonder how they're gonna get this much plot for it, but I'm excited to find out. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.